I'm so excited that you've bought some Canva templates, let alone if you're here and you bought some of my Canva templates. Thank you so much. I appreciate it truly, dearly, and I'm so excited to see how these help you move forward in your brand and your business. If you haven't bought any Canva templates and you're watching this and you're just kind of curious on how to customize Canva templates overall, you're still welcome and you're at the right place. In this little video, I'm going to showcase one of my designs, my branded designs that I've created. It's the Explorer series, and we're just going to go over the stories. I'm going to walk you through how to add a photo, how to change some of the text and the colors, some really just easy guides. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So this is an example of my Explorer stories. I have a handful of different types of branded Canva templates for stories and Instagram or Square posts. So when you buy one of my templates, and if you didn't buy one of my templates, you can just fast forward a few minutes to when we start getting into like adjusting the photos and how to insert photos and change fonts and all of that fun goodness. But if you're here for my shop, the first page, what you'll see is that there is a page of the elements that either I have used within the designs or they're elements that I recommend using for the designs to stick with that same type of brand aesthetic, so to speak. These are all from Canva. So you don't have to upload anything more. These are all available through Canva, and they should all be through the free account. On occasion, sometimes like a pro one changes or Canva might change some of their pricing options on the elements. So if it was free at one point and then it's not later on, they might have just adjusted what elements are available within the free account or the pro account. That said, you can use this page for any of your own brand elements. So if you already have a brand and you just like the layout of some of the templates, but you're not really sure how to customize them to fit your own, I always recommend having at least one page for any of your designs that just has the elements of your brand. So if you use certain lines, if you have specific cutout images, I mean, whatever you use for your brand, it's nice to just have a collective space to host all of it, so that way you can just copy and paste it onto other designs and you just have a referral, and just makes it less easy. It's just kind of like having a little kit close by. This next page is going to show the fonts. I only used maybe 2 or 3 of them in each of the designs, but I leave a lot of room here for other fonts through Canva. Again, these also all should be free through the free account that you can use within the brand aesthetic. You can change the fonts. If you have a pro account, you can upload your own fonts that are affiliated with your brand and your brand guidelines. But this is a nice example or a referral. If you want to change the fonts, it's super easy. All you do is you just click on one of the fonts. You can click on any of them. All I'm doing is just clicking on the type. And the name that's there, that's the name of the font through Canva. So you can see up on this side up here, it says Horizon, which is the name of the font. If you don't like the font, all you have to do is just click on that little down arrow, and you'll see over on the left here, it pulls up. I mean, it'll pull up. If you're new to Canva, you probably won't have the recently used, but if you aren't new to Canva, it'll pull up the recently used. If you have the Canva Pro, it'll show the brand fonts that you have uploaded through your account, or your uploaded fonts if you've uploaded other fonts. And then it lists it out by popular. And if you look over here, it's got the little crown on some of those. Those are pro account fonts. So you have to have the pro account to use them. Anything without the little crown, those are totally free. So let's say I just want to change it to this font named Alice. All I'm going to do is just click on that, and you'll see it changes that font. So that's all you have to do to change the font style. Pretty easy, right? The other thing that you can do is right here with this number, this is your font size. So you can put any custom size that you want, or you can do any of the pre-populated numbers here. So 14 makes it kind of small, 16 makes it bigger, obviously, or you can do 48. The other thing that you can do to change size is if you just click on the corner here and drag it, check that out. It changes the font size for you, and it adjusts it up on the, like, you can see the number adjusting at the top to the font size as well. You can change the color. All you do is you just pick on the text color here, and it'll pull up the colors over on that left-hand side. You can change it to bold. You can change it to italic. You can add an underline on it. Some of the fonts may not have those options, and part of that probably runs into licensing fees. So Canva probably uses the free fonts that you can use for commercial and personal. And sometimes what happens is the font distributor, they limit the amount of fonts that they offer for free. It's like a little sample, a little taste test. So you might not be able to do the bold, the italic, or the underline on all of the fonts. So if you run into that, that's most likely why. You can change the alignment if you want it to be left aligned, justified, so it's like if you think of a textbook or a newspaper article where it just always fits the same width. You can do right aligned, or you can do centered. This right here is where you can change it to be all uppercase, or you can have it be upper and lower. So like here, retype it here. So that's where it's upper and lower standard, or you can change it so it's all uppercase. You can make a bulleted list. This here is spacing. So they do letter spacing and line height. In actual design terms, that's called kerning and leading. So kerning is your letter space. So that's how much space you have. Let me scroll up here. That's how much space that you have in between each of the letters. So you can have it be really far apart, or you can have it be super duper close together. It's a fun way to add a little bit more dynamic to some of your designs. And then same with line height. We'll use this as an example here. You can make it really far apart, or you can make them super close together. Okay, and then this third page, I just created color palettes. This is just a color palette that I thought fit the explorer type feel and aesthetic. You can change the colors however you see fit. If you want it to be your own brand colors, awesome, change them up. If you want to create your own color palette outside of this, there's a few different sites that you can go to. So Canva has its own color palette generator that you can use. You can upload an image or try a demo image through them, and you can see it pulls 4 or 5 different colors based off of the colors that are within that picture. So if you're looking for brand colors, I mean, when it comes to branding, one of the steps that I do with my clients is I have them create a list of 10 to 20 adjectives, words that are going to describe how they want their brand to look, how they want their brand to feel, how they want it to relate to their client, their target market. Use those single words and collect some of those, and then start doing a search, whether it's through Google or one of my favorite sites is unsplash.com, unsplash.com. A lot of royalty-free pictures in there that you can use and pull it as inspiration, create your own mood boards. But then you can kind of get an idea of, like, I don't know, if you're a nautical company and you want to have an ocean feel, look up some ocean serene sunsets, or I don't know, you get the idea. So another website that you can go to is called chroma.co. It's a color palette generator. You can really do, it's kind of unlimited, and it'll just, you just pick and choose. You have to go through this little introduction where you pick 50 colors. They're warmer, cooler, lighter, darker, and you kind of pick a preference that way, and then it'll automatically start populating color palettes. And then Coolers is another site very similar to Chroma, just a different iteration of it. There's a handful of other sites that do the same thing, but here's some examples on where you can start. Now, when it comes to creating your color palette, I have one caveat that I always recommend is you want to make sure that you have, or at least expect to get Pantone colors. Now, Pantone colors, what are those? That's a common color code that graphic designers and interior designers even use it. A lot of creatives, print companies do a lot of Pantone color type deals. But what it means is that it's a universal color. So you can use that as a starting point for everything. If you start with a hex code, which is the hashtag with 6 digits or numbers next to each other, so like here, this is a hex code right there, hashtag, pound, whatever you want to call it, 8B2929. That is a hex code. So that, if you use that primarily as only your brand colors and you start from there and then you continue to grow without any intention of getting a Pantone color. What ends up happening is when you start doing web design, if you start doing print, and print is done in, different color formats, you have RGB and CMYK, what ends up happening is that it gets kind of convoluted and then your colors start changing. So it's not as consistent, which might not be a priority for you now, which is fine. But all you can do is, like, if you create your own color palette through hex codes, it's fine to start with that. I would recommend reaching out to a graphic designer or a printer to see if they can find accompanying Pantone colors to go with those hex codes, and then reproduce the new hex codes based on the Pantone colors. And then they can do like an RGB and a CMYK color tone for you too. Okay, so now that we're past all of this, this is where you get into the the templates. So oftentimes when you buy a Canva template, you're going to have placeholders, and then you'll have pre-made text, and everything's going to have the colors already. Sometimes in a few of my Canva templates, I leave some of the images in there. Those are all free through Canva, so you're free to use all of them. Or there are some edited elements, so if I add a little bit of a blur effect, or I adjusted some of the brightness and contrast to fit the aesthetic, it's a lot easier because when you plop the new picture in there, that picture will adjust to those pre-made adjustments. And if you don't like those, you can always reset it too. So how do you add a picture or even switch it? So we'll just start with adding a picture here. You're going to go over to the left. This is through the Canva Pro account, what you're seeing. So if you have the free account, it's going to look a little bit different, but you're still going to have access to a photo library. And I'm going to go up into the search bar here, and I'm just going to type adventure based off the Explorer brand archetype. So I really like this picture here of this guy kayaking. As you can see, this is a pro account. If you have the free account and you don't want to spend any money on buying a photo, all you have to do is go up to the filter here. Let me move my face. All you have to do is go up to the filter here, the settings, and then you just click on free and apply filters. Awesome, pretty easy, right? So now that we're in the free account, if you want to do something different, let's do this one here of this person jumping on the rocks. All I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the picture, holding the mouse down. I'm going to hold it, and then I'm just going to plop it right over the placeholder image, and it just automatically snaps. If you double click on it, you can change the size by dragging and dropping, and you can move it around. Pretty slick, right? So to change colors of the elements, just click on whatever element that you want to change colors. As you can see, this one has two. Not all of the elements are going to have that. Sometimes you'll have more, sometimes you'll only have one. So this is cool if you have more than one color. That means that there's a gradient applied, so you can change the colors. You can see there's a slight difference, so it goes from black to brown. This one, I do pink to white. I mean, you can do a different variety of things. If you want it all to be the same color, you can make it all the same color. Oops. Just make sure when you click on this, you're going to go up to that color box at the top there and pick which one you want to adjust. This, for the text, to change the colors, we've already gone through that. You're just going to click on the A, just double click on it, and you can type in your new word. This one I just put hello. Can't see it as well because it doesn't match that background color. If the text is layered, all you got to do is just click on one, and then you drag it out of the way to get to the back end. One thing that you can do is, if whatever element that you're doing, if you want to rearrange the alignment so something is in the front, or if you want to move something to the back, let's say we want to move this picture behind this one, I'm just going to go up to position, and you'll just go backwards, or you'll go to back. And it looks like there's maybe two there. So you'll just do the position up here, and you can go to front, or you can go backward, or you can go to back. So if you have layers already here, so like this one's kind of tricky, what I'll do with this is I'll click on the layer that's above this picture because I want to change that picture. I'm going to do Command X or Control X, or you can just move it. But the nice thing when you do Command X or Control X, you can do Command C or Control V, excuse me, and it'll just copy it back in its original place where you deleted it from. So very similar thing. We're going to change the image to maybe this one. Just click and drag. And now I want to put that element back where it was at. It'll put it at the very forefront. So then I'm just going to go to position and move it backward. Easy peasy. Sometimes you got to be a little careful with some of these. This is an image. This is 2 images. So you can see the film strip plus the placeholder here. If you want to add another picture, that's all going to be in your elements. And that's going to be in your grids right here. You can add shapes, you can add frames, you can add stickers, charts, gradients, all sorts of different things that you can add to your Canva designs if you don't want to use any of the ones provided in the template. All you have to do is just go to Elements and search Elements Pro or Photos and search Photos in there, and then you can just add and customize your templates however you see fit. One other thing that I thought would be kind of cool to share with you, so like this one here has an effect that's already placed in it, so we'll just drag and drop this one in here so you can see it's got some blurs. If you want to change it, you just go to Adjust, and you can see the brightness and everything is changed there. The blur is up a little bit. You can reset it, and then it'll just automatically, if you want to go back to the previous thing, just Command Z or Control Z, or this undo up here. But what I was going to say, so let's say you have this piece of paper here. You really like the effect of it, but you're not a huge fan of the color. Just go to Adjust, and you can play around with it. You can change the brightness, the darkness, you can change the contrast, and you can change the color slightly. Some of the images you might not have as much flexibility. That just kind of goes with however the image is uploaded and saved. So, but you have some creative freedom to kind of change and adjust colors that way through the elements. So I hope this was super helpful. I'm really excited to see how you use these templates. If you have any questions or comments, just let me know. Drop them in the comments or shoot me an email or DM on any of my social media profiles. As always, I got my little coffee here. Cheers and happy branding.